few days ago, we explored all the information of what Obsidian Entertainment's Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 3 would have been, as well as the true possibility of KOTOR ever actually having a return. Now, in the chance that we release this video before that one, it will appear in the top right as an info card when it does release. But today, we're actually going to talk about something more fan-made. How one incredibly talented developer and designer was working on a full remake of KOTOR 1. And I'm not talking about a high resolution textures or fine tuning the original game. I'm talking about a full, from the ground up, recreation of the game in Unreal Engine 4. Now, it's not the first time we've talked about fantastic fan-made Star Wars games. Star Wars Redemption looked like it was coming straight out of an indie studio, but Apeyron's Star Wars Knight of the Old Republic showed us just what these planet designs would have looked like in a fully fledged 3D realm, bursting with character, vibrance, and highly detailed graphics. From levels and planets such as Lower Taris, the Undercity, Manon, Kashyyyk, and more, the game has so much potential. So, in today's video, I'm going to go over all the work Poem Studios did to make this remake a reality, compare it to the original game, and finally cover its absolutely devastating end. This isn't just your standard cease and desist as a project finally took off. This entire project was so close for release that if the studio just had a few more months of development, you would have been playing this game on your PC and enjoying KOTOR just how you envisioned it as a child, or to finally have a proper excuse to dive into its amazing story once again. I'm sorry guys, just like other KOTOR news, this video is going to sting, but I feel like it's important to cover these projects even after their death, as it reiterates how important the series is to people and why Disney and EA should give it the attention it so rightly deserves. But before I make you guys hurt even more, something a little bit on a lighter note. The question of the day, which is, which game did you prefer? KOTOR 1 or KOTOR 2? Let me know in the comments below and give me a solid reason why. I want to hear all your thoughts and opinions on this one. We read all of them and try to get back to some of you too. Also, if you love all things Star Wars, Empire at War, Squadrons, or perhaps myself, Eckhartsladder, and Corey playing games like Fall Guys, Sea of Thieves and such, definitely hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. We are so close to 100,000 subscribers. It's actually unreal, guys. Thank you. But with that out of the way, back to KOTOR. Within early 2016, an ambitious group of fans pulled together to create Poem Studios. That studio began working on a reboot or remaster of KOTOR 1, dubbed Knights of the Old Republic Apeiron. Over the course of the next 2 years, they posted update after update on their Twitter, showing off all the areas they remade and even compared them to the original from time to time. Not everything was a one-to-one rebuild. Some level designs were altered to be a bit more accessible. Remember that KOTOR wasn't a perfect game. The gameplay itself was clunky, and travelling to and from objective points left some players lost on the map or even not totally sure what to do. With Aperion, those level designs became a lot more unique and didn't rely on repeating textures and structures as the limitations back in 2003 were no more. Just for an example, look at the texture effects of the fire here in Kashyyyk, and this was back in 2017. So stuff like this was a bit more cutting edge than they are today. Here, the interiors were dark and gritty, with light bouncing off metal paneling, making everything feel really like classic Star Wars. And just the attention to detail for the computers and holograms, just incredible. Here, we even see gameplay of the protagonist running through what seems to be a test map room, where the AI feels a lot more smoother and realistic in their idle and walking animations compared to the original. With the developers stating that AI followed realistic paths, had goals, a home to go to, and needs they need to follow, as well as even being able to move between maps. It was honestly a generational jump in technology compared to the AI in the original. It's evident that the team really knew how to create 3D spaces above anything else, because even to this day, 3 or 4 years later since its creation, everything seems to have aged so well. These minor animations sprawled across the Lower Taris just built so much immersion and doubled down on what KOTOR did best, which is to make worlds of Star Wars genuinely feel like they're being lived in. Even the lightsaber effects looked fantastic, as the light would bounce all around the character's model and the interior around the room. even with the video here where the lightsaber's colors are changing in real time. But that isn't even all of it. Apeiron also had absolutely fantastic 3D models to boot. Just look at this Bastilla comparison. Absolutely insane work. Even the mallet reveal just looks incredible. As for exploring all planets already rebuilt, not many people had the privilege to cover it all. Most of the gameplay was shown by YouTuber Mr. Matty Plays, showing off some of the planets as how far the project had come. Lawstar also covered a lot of the pre-alpha footage also. Of course, everything we're shown to you in this video will be in the description down below, so you can see every little bit of detail this game had to offer. Whilst it was mostly internal, the team had stated the game was making serious strides to completion, and it looked like KOTOR fans were finally going to get some amazing news. A full remake of their beloved game with or without Disney or EA's help. But with many of the fan-made Star Wars games I cover, there is never always just good news. Poem Studios was struck hard, and I don't just mean the cease and desist letter they got in the mail. Unfortunately, it was so much worse. After all their hard work over the course of 2 to 3 years, Poem Studios' worst fears came true. They were struck down in late 2018. The community attempted to push back on Disney's ruling, their argument being that Aperion could be categorized as a full conversion mod and that the original Steam copy of the game was required for it to run, posing no threat to sales of the original. Whilst you could argue this was fair use, it's just too expensive and risky to take legal action. In an interview with IGN, Apeirion's developer Chris Regenberg and Poem Studios founder Taylor Trotter stated the legal fight would have mostly taken a year, if not more, and after speaking with the legal counsel, the cost could go as high as $100,000. They followed with, we all knew that Apeirion's shutdown was a possibility. The best case scenario is that we get to finish this project, but the potential of shuttering was always on our mind. Unfortunately, that best case scenario never happened. And what's worse is just how close they were to finishing the game. That's what hurts the most, claimed Regenberg. We were actually pretty close to releasing the game. It would have been easier to swallow if we had just started development, but in our current state, if we had maybe 3 or more months, we'd have probably been able to release it. A new generation of KOTOR, a new way to play a beloved series, near completion, completely gone. Similar mods of different franchises had their blessings. Skywind, which was an effort to rebuild Morrowind and Skyrim, was given an official blessing by Bethesda Studios. O1 Installment, a mod for Halo on PC, was also given the green light. And an even bigger case, Black Mesa, an exact same approach as Apeiron, a full rebuild from the ground up of Half-Life, was eventually picked up and sold by Valve themselves, making a fan-made game become official. Even Sega allows full reign to fan-made Sonic games, which is why there's such a gigantic developer base making Sonic fan games that are slowly catching up to studio quality. It's the sole reason Sonic Mania exists, as it was made by those fan developers. But it appears for Disney and EA, they're not interested. Apeiron developers did attempt to contact Disney to discuss further on the possibility of them being picked up on the project since it was so close to completion, and failing that, just allowing them a little more time to finish up the game. But nothing. At the end of the day, I'm not mad we got shut down, says Trotter. I'm mad that no one has bothered to respond. And it appears the only form of contact they had were from their lawyers and nothing else. And by October 2018, Poem Studios officially gave up all hope. The game was shut down and hundreds of thousands who wanted to play the game are now left empty-handed. But this all went down about 2 years ago. Where is Apeiron and Poem Studios now? Well, unfortunately Apeiron is still dead and gone. But Poem Studios decided to utilize their skill sets in another way and have begun development on their own game called The Missing. You can see more of their development via their Discord, Twitter or Twitch, which I'll also link below. But that does conclude the sad story of Apeiron. It's a rough one, but as IGN has perfectly put it, Knights of the Old Republic fandom has grown accustomed to heartbreak. And with the shaky ground the official KOTOR TV series reboot is on after the Star Wars High Republic announcement made this year, many are not holding their breath. But not all hope is lost. Perhaps fans have cashed in enough luck for something big this time around. All we can do is hope, really. But that does come to the end of the video. I know this was a sad one today, fellas. I hope you understand that we cover these bittersweet stories like this one to show there is a demand for a project like Aperion. So, if you wish, definitely show the video around to your friends to get it as much attention if you can. But I will leave that one to you guys. Of course, our question of the day again, which is, which game do you prefer, KOTOR 1 or KOTOR 2? Let me know your responses in the comments down below, guys. And finally, if you have some free time, why not watch our video on the best squadron and team formations for Star Wars Squadrons? We discussed what best approaches you'd likely need during the early, mid and late game of fleet battles, the main multiplayer mode for the game. But other than that, I have been Charlie, you've been watching X2, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.